2 games in Japan. Are they important?
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, alongside Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making us your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen or watch every day. We're going to start with the Tokyo series as the Cubs and Dodgers both arrived in Japan on Wednesday, and they opened the season this Tuesday in Tokyo series, Tokyo Dome in Japan. First of 2 games out there. You can catch opening day on either Marquee or Fox. First pitch at 5:10 a.m. Central Standard Time. This is an important moment for the sport, important moment for Major League Baseball on the international stage, although I do think it diminishes a little bit the opening day experience for the specific fan base, but I can expand on that later in the segment. Sam, we could do baseball perspective and also, a little off-field stuff too. But 2 games, I'm not a math major, but 2 games is 1% of the season. And I did want to ask you how important these are.
Yeah, I think that's the better question. Are they important? Of course they are. The question is how important are they? Are they more important than any other regular season game? Probably not. I think talking about this series, especially, and I'm almost giving myself a pep talk here because I know how I get. I think that going into this, and how many times do you play 2 games and then have a week off? The only other time is the All-Star break. And at that point, you're not as concerned about the last 2 because you have a body of work of about 95. So I think it's very important to know that this is a very tricky situation and that if the Cubs do come back 0-2, which is very possible, they're playing the best team in the world, the best pitchers in the world, the best hitters in the world. They started out 0-2 last year, and the best month of their year for the most part was April. So, they could easily come back from this. If they go 2-0, which is less possible, but possible, it doesn't mean that they're going to the World Series. And if they go 1-1, which is the most likely outcome, then it's fine and you move forward. I think because there's so much anticipation. I mean, how many times have we said on this show, by the time Japan rolls along, when they go to Tokyo, etc., it's almost just human, just like being a human where you're going to put a lot of emphasis on this game. Plus, I'm not going to say the world is watching because people don't care about baseball in the United States anymore, which is a shame. But, you are going to have more eyes on you in these 2 games, probably than I would say maybe all year, right? Unless you go to the postseason. So there's that aspect of it. You're playing the defending World Series champions. And, it's they matter just as much as another regular season game, but you can't overreact a little bit. When I say people don't care about baseball in the United States, obviously they do. We have a great following. I just mean it's just not like I don't think most people are going to be waking up at 5 a.m. going, "Oh, it's Cubs Dodgers. We got to check it out." But because they're the only game in town, it matters a little bit more to people because more people will be watching.
Yeah, and I think those are all good points. I guess I do wonder, is pitting 2 of the largest franchises in the sport against each other at 5 a.m. good for the game?
Right.
But I'll try to hold off on some of that.
Why?
Well, because quite frankly, it's not good. People are sleeping, and in Los Angeles, it's 3 a.m. and our time it's 5.
Right.
So that's not normal. And granted, you might say, "Oh, well, Matt, if they opened in LA, it'd be at 9 Central. That's pretty late." In fact, domestic opening day is at 9:05 or 9:10 against the D-backs. But especially given that the top talent in the sport is on one of the rosters, I just don't think he should be parked at 5 a.m. I don't.
Yeah, I think this is obviously global
But it's
focus.
more for international,
Yeah,
right?
it's just global. So it works for Japan, and it's helping to grow the game because, like I just said, the baseball in the United States it has a problem. I mean, it is way behind football. It's well behind basketball, and so one way to help that is to help out globally because the NFL doesn't have a huge global presence. It's gotten better, but these type of games, I don't think they're for the United States a lot. But yeah, I agree. I wish there was a way they could do it at like 10 a.m., 9 a.m.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Just
Exactly.
make it a little bit easier for the American audience. But what can you do?
And if we've learned anything since we took over the show on July 5th in 2022, since we took over the show, we've gone from 757 subs to almost 13,000.
It'd be great to get to 13,000 by opening day. It's possible.
In a 2.5-year span. And, how much does a 2 or 3, or sometimes you got the 4-gamer in there, a series? How does that little of a pocket, what can you actually learn? I personally have learned that there are takeaways. There are pluses and minuses that are produced from that. But I will say, especially given your opponent, which matters, the eye test for these 2 games, I think, are even as valuable as the win-loss result. Do I want the Cubs to come back 1-1? Yes, I do. Would I be absolutely thrilled if they came back 2-0? Yes, I would. And my cousin Anthony Cozy said exactly what you said, Sam, a few minutes ago. On Christmas Day, Anthony said, the Cubs win both games in Japan, they're going to go to the World Series. And that's how the Cozy family is. It's a disease. And in the Olber family as well. But you are catching the Dodgers at the right time. This is the earliest point in the year. Maybe that's a good thing. You always point that out. Mm-hmm. With that being said, they have next to no concerns up and down their roster. The Cubs have a few. But if the Cubs show well, maybe that does instill confidence in us as fans. And then they rattle off 2-4 in AZ, 2 of 3 in Sacramento, and they come back 5-4, 4-5 to Wrigley on April the 4th, something along those lines.
Yeah, I think
that's the show today.
I think that last year was a big change for me because they got off to such a good start in April, which was the whole offseason. Got to get off to a good start. And they started 17-9. And then when the schedule lightened up, they were one of the worst teams in all the land. And so I just think ultimately, look, I'm going to be locked in. We're going to talk about our plans in the last segment. I'm going to be ready to roll. I'm going to be screaming if they hit a home run. I'm going to be depressed if they lose because that's who I am. But ultimately, my guess is by the time October rolls around, this series will be a very, very small footnote in what is a large 162 game season. But hey, if you care about good vibes, if you care about having fun, how cool would it be if we had a week's worth of shows after beating the Dodgers twice in Japan? I mean, that would be pretty awesome. And if it's the other way, yeah, it'll be a little bit harder to get excited about a PCA triple in spring training when we're 0-2. So, I just hope they come back with a win. I will say respectfully, of course, I disagree with the whole eye test thing because if they lose 15-2 because Imanaga, what if he just doesn't have it? I don't know.
Well, they wouldn't pass the eye test then.
Yeah, right. But then, if he threw the ball better, would they? I'm kind of on the Boog side of this one, which is, rare.
Which is what?
Just I just think it's just a little bit more literal. They passed the eye test. How? What if the guy? Okay, you're done with me. Let's forget it.
Well, maybe
It's
Matt
fine.
Shaw goes 3 for 3 against Yamamoto.
Well, then he would pass the eye test. Well, he's passed the eye test at every step.
Go Cubs.
Including yesterday. So
he made the trip to Japan.
Yeah, thankfully. So
Keegan Thompson did not. He's a DFA candidate.
As we said,
for Matt Shaw, he's got to be added to the 40-man.
As we've said for a few months now at this point, I think it's time for Keegan. A change of scenery.
All right, coming up next, the spring breakout game, we're going to preview. And later in the show, we go over our plans for next week.
This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Folks, if you're anything like me and you're not a big cook, you live alone, you spend way too much money on delivery services and takeout, Monarch Money is for you. It'll help you budget smarter and save more. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off, half off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year.
Spring breakout game is only in its second year, something that Major League Baseball started in 2024. And Cubs have 2 spring breakout games this week. Where teams set up rosters of prospects who are among the organization's best and highlight each other's farm systems. And so the Cubs play the Dodgers. The spring breakout game as well. That's on Thursday night at Camelback Ranch. And then the Cubs prospects play the Angels prospects on Sunday night at Sloan Park. I think this is a good idea, don't you?
I think it'd be a fun thing to go to if I were at Sloan in Arizona to watch the Cubs prospects. Yeah, I think so.
Right.
I mean, I think that anytime, it feels like this episode has gone to like marketing the game. So I'm going to keep going there.
Right.
I think that one big problem with the game is that most casual fans don't have access or don't care for access to watch the prospects, right? Where in football or basketball, you watch college basketball. You watch college football. Now, of course, basketball's changed. There's a lot of overseas prospects and things like that. And sometimes at the G League or whatever. But like most of the time you get to follow these guys. So I think anytime you get to put these guys on a stage, whether it's the futures game, whether it's the spring game, and give them the opportunity to showcase their ability, I think it helps grow the game.
Absolutely. And, there's no shortage of big names that are participating for the Cubs. And so I'm going to give those to you right now. Pitchers for the Cubs prospects, at least in this first one. I think second game, the pitchers will change and then the position players will stay the same. Pitchers, Cade Horton. That'd be great to watch. Jackson Wiggins, Drew Gray, Riley Martin, and Will Sanders. A lot of catchers. Moises Ballesteros, Pablo Aliendo, Ariel Armas, Ethan Hearn, and Michael Carrico. And infielders, James Triantos, Christian Hernandez, Johnny Long, Ronnie Cruz, Cole Mathis, who's risen up the prospect rankings recently, Angel Cepeda, Pedro Ramirez, Yahil Melendez, Ty Southside, and BJ Murray. And then 3 outfielders, Christian Franklin, Felix Stevens, and the gentleman that's being called the Cubs' Aaron Judge, Ivan Breathauer. So that's the spring breakout game roster.
Casey's injured.
Yeah. And Alcantara, I wonder if he'll be added for Sunday's game because he stayed back.
Right.
There would be no reason why he wouldn't play.
Do you
So
think
I would imagine he gets added for Sunday's game, but not Thursdays?
I've been meaning to ask you a question on the show, and I think now is a good time. Do you feel like Cam Smith, speaking of prospects,
this is
and
Cam Smith is starting to make me uncomfortable. Go ahead.
And then also, let me say this. So Cam Smith and then Jackson Ferris, right? What's the name? Jackson Ferris, the guy they traded for Michael Bush.
Yep, him and Zaire Hope, who's also done well.
When you see guys like prospects like that crushing it in a trade, and Cam Smith, let's be honest, it's eye-opening because he's hit at every level, and now he's just been one of the best hitters maybe in all of spring. Does that bother you at all?
So there's a murmur, actually, before I saw this, I think it was 3 nights ago, and I couldn't believe what I was reading. And then one of our listeners tagged us both this morning, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
There's even a murmur that Cam Smith is going to make the Astros.
He went 0 for 3 today. He's currently hitting .450 with an on base of .560 and an .850 slug after an 0 for 3 day.
He hasn't played above high A, and he might play right field for the Astros.
So does that bother you?
It bothers me.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't believe that I'm admitting that, because I was the guy who was saying, well, why don't you want to trade Cam Smith for Kyle Tucker?
Mm-hmm.
But this guy might actually start from day one and start for the Astros for the next 6-7 years.
Mm-hmm.
At this age, wow.
That
hurts. By the way, because Paredes, he's going to have a great year. Maybe Wisniewski rebounds. I don't really care, respectfully. Bellinger is going to have a great year. But for a prospect to start on day one and excel, that does hurt a little bit.
Yeah. I'm not there yet. But I'm getting there.
He was a Cubs guy. They spent hours looking into him, talking to his teachers, his coaches, his parents. They drafted him. They ship him out for a rental. He makes the team a few months later.
I'm not there yet, but I totally think it's fair to be there. But ultimately, these games don't count. And so I want to see what he looks like. It is a little bit off-putting that they think he could be ready to be in the big leagues.
If he makes the team, how are you going to feel about that?
If he makes the team, I'm going to start. I'll say this. Put it like this. If he makes the team, I'm going to be paying attention to his at-bats.
100%. I'll look at every box score.
Yeah, I'm going to start paying attention.
And guess what? I don't want to do that.
Me neither. I
don't want to look at how Paredes is doing and Bellinger.
As the late great Herb Brooks said in the movie Miracle when he was talking to the guy about the injury, and then the Eruzione defended him. There's plenty there to keep us busy with our own team. You know what I mean? We don't need to be focusing on other teams. There's plenty of Cubs stuff to keep us busy. Great movie.
Exactly. All right. Well, that was. I'm glad you brought that up.
A bad take.
And I don't really have a similar. Like Jackson Ferris apparently might pitch for the Dodgers this year.
He looks phenomenal. But at least
I don't really have a strong feeling on that for some reason. Yeah. I think it's because Cam Smith is such a visible presence.
Yeah,
and he's a position player. He's in the lineup every day.
Sure.
It hurts.
I hear you.
Coming up next, we're going to go over our own content plans for next week. We have so many great things planned. We're so excited. We're going to be on the air a lot. And including Sam's watch along Tuesday morning. I believe he's going on the air at 5:05.
5 a.m.
Wow. He's even going to give you a 10-minute pregame.
Yeah, I guess 5:05 might make more sense.
And so we get in some deets on that right after the.
This episode is brought to you by Wonderful Pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Personally, I love the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days. Right here, and I've upgraded to the bigger bag, I have the chili roasted flavor that I have been loving for quite a while now. I'm a grazer throughout the day, guys. I don't have time for a full meal in the middle of work. So if I'm in between meetings or equipment runs, these little green wonders pack the protein punch I need to get me through the day. And I can't recommend the chili roasted kind enough. It is absolutely packed with flavor. So get snacking and get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more.
All right, we're going over our content plans for next week, as this is, as per usual, my last show of the week. Sam will be with you solo on Friday, as he has been, and has been doing a fantastic job with those. Those are a must listen, really. I don't really know how else to put it. So I've really enjoyed those. But the next time we're together again will be for Monday morning, published like usual.
Mm-hmm.
But then we're going to be back Monday night, 6:30 p.m. Central. And that one's going to have a little bit of length, Sam, I do believe.
Yeah.
I think we're budgeting an hour for that, right?
Yeah, live.
So we'll be live 6:30 to 7:30 Central Monday nights. And we're going to have listeners on that one as well. I'm actually thinking about, I haven't told you this yet. I'll tell you on the air. I would like to drop the StreamYard link. And I just want people to come through live. Okay.
Wow.
So I want to try that because I think we have the audience to do something to pull that off.
Wow.
And then we have the Samcast, as I'm calling it privately, but I guess I just put it out on the air. Sam is going to be watching the game with you Tuesday morning. He's going to go on the air prior to first pitch at 5:10. And tell us a little bit more about that, please.
Yeah. I think we have a graphic, or I have a graphic. I'll put on.
Yeah,
I'll put
that. Yeah.
I'll put on Thursday, or for Friday. Yeah. Look, we do a watch long. I think we did about 4, 5, 6 of them last year, and basically it's people have always asked me, how are you during a game? I'd love to see you during a game. So that's what happens. I usually stay for about 5 or 6 innings or so. And then I love to answer questions in the chat as the game's going on, because I can't actually announce the game. I don't have the rights to do that. So, here and there, I'll, maybe do a play or two and then react. The key to the watch alongs to make them go great is to please don't give away the action, because when I'm on my computer and I'm also on my phone watching, whether it's YouTube TV or Marquee, I'll probably watch the Fox version because I think that's quicker. I'm not going to see things as fast as you do. And that's kind of the purpose, right? You watch the game, you see what happens, and then you look to your left and then see what my reaction to it is. And then Matt, if you want, I could continue, but and then after the game, we'll be live as well. So
yeah. So we're going to be live shortly after the final out of Tuesday's game. Which will be a lot of fun.
Probably around, that's going to be, right as you get to work, most people.
Yeah, I would say
8:30, 9 a.m. Something.
Yeah, around there.
Right.
And then Sam's going to have you solo right after Wednesday's game. And then the last episode of the week we'll post, we'll record Thursday. and get that to you either right away or just wait till Friday morning. So definitely catch our first Sam's solo show tomorrow, Friday, and then regular Monday show, but then the special live one Monday night that rolls right into the Sam cast Tuesday morning for the game. And then we'll be with you right after the game, and then we'll just go. We'll go from there. So
Yeah, and then
very exciting.
And then tomorrow I'm going to have a special guest on our show, and we're going to announce some show news about basically how we're gonna do the shows this year. We're gonna have somebody else coming in. His name's Joe. He does a phenomenal job. He's gonna be doing some like reaction post game called a postcast, and I'm gonna explain it all tomorrow with him. And then that's gonna feed right into our show. So we're excited about that. There's gonna be no shortage of content this season. We're going to have shorts after every game, reactions. We're going to talk about Joe tomorrow. And then, of course, our podcast 5 days a week. Some days, when I'm solo, maybe we're live. Some days we're not. But you guys know the routine with that by now. So it's going to be a fun year. This is going to be a year that needs to end in a division title. And we've never covered a playoff team. This will be Matt and I's 4th season doing the show, which is just crazy to say.
That's weird.
We took over in 2022 during a rebuild season. And by the way, I might add, when we took over, the team did get pretty hot at the end of the year, especially August.
They did, yeah.
And then 2023 was really the only time we ever even tasted playoff baseball in July and August. And I got to say, some of the happiest memories maybe of my life just coming on. No, I'm serious. Just coming on and doing the show. Like it's about winning. And we're going to be here for you if they're not good either. But I think this is going to be a really good year. And us and the Locked On Podcast Network has made it so pretty much every day after every game, there's going to be content for you about this baseball team the way it should be. So we're excited. Monday Night Live. Oh, there's my graphic. Very cool. Monday Night Live. And then my Tuesday morning watch along, March 18th at 5 a.m. And Matt, if you don't mind, put the camera on me for 1 second, please. If the Cubs win on Tuesday, I will do another watch along on Wednesday.
Wow.
Hey, you had my word. Never once have I gone back on my word on this show. I got 6 people.
That's big news.
I bought 6 sets of tickets after Tucker Barnhart hit a home run because of a typo. So I will be there for that. And watch along live Tuesday, live with me Wednesday. And, it's not going to be a lot of sleep this week. And then Thursday and Friday is March Madness. So it's going to be kind of crazy for yours truly.
Thank you so much for checking out this episode. We are here 5 days a week talking about all things Cubs. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube as we make the push to 13,000 subs. And we're streaming worldwide at Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Sirius XM, and more. Certainly a lot going on. Sam will be back tomorrow. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
Go Cubs.